simulators, the first of their kind in Africa. Students learn how the human body really works and how it responds to various stimuli and treatments.
The nursing school has been in inception since May 2016, so we are in our second year. What sets us apart is the kind of environment in which the students are being trained, especially in terms of skills training. Our skills labs are among the best in the country and in West Africa as a whole.
You got to see a simulated birth here. We can do these births about every 7 to 10 minutes with a setup and things like that. Now, comparable to other simulation centers, obviously there's no other simulation center here in Africa that can offer that. In the States, this is very comparable to the same experience that our students in the States will experience over here.
Don't leave your education to chance. Enroll at Wisconsin now and get world-class training in nursing, community health nursing, and midwifery. Wisconsin International University College, Ghana. Leaders in international education.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned on AAU Talks here on AAU and then our Twitter page as well. We are privileged to have in our midst today the director for the Careers and Counseling Center of the Premier University of Ghana, and we are going off the center. Good day, madam.
Good day to you, Kwesi.
How are you?
Certainly, ever ready.
Great. And that really caught our attention is the Careers and Counseling Center. So we want to have a brief chat with you to share with us what happens here, what happens in the lives of the student, the lecturers, and the entire university services or the university community. But to set the ball rolling, you could tell us why the center in the first place.
I believe that the center is very important to the life of a student, right from the time they come into the university. We have a system what we call the student's journey. Okay. Before they are joining the university, they talk to us about what is available, what are the courses, what career options are available even within those courses. And when they arrive, for some of them, it's very quiet, it's very lonely. This is the first time they've moved away from home. Sure. How do they settle in? And some of them may have been offered courses that they didn't really choose. And so they are finding it difficult to settle in. And so they are also talking to us. And sometimes while they're here, they are also talking to us because at this point, they are looking at career choices, they're looking at course combined to us. And also before they leave, again, what opportunities out there, and they talk to us. We help them with placement, we help them prepare their CVs and in preparing for interviews. We even offer them mock interviews if they want to. And so again, they're talking to us. And sometimes when they've left, they also come back
to share their
experiences, to talk about careers, but also those who are looking for further studies. They come back talking to us. I'm looking for further studies. Some of the courses, if Legon is not offering, we have programs and opportunities that helps them pick those up. We run an educational fair, for instance, so they can come in and talk to people on different courses that they are interested in.
Okay. First of all, let me congratulate you as services for our students in higher education. We have some of our universities that do not have such setup, and even if they do, they don't place much emphasis on it. And so let me congratulate the entire university for this great stride. But then, how long has the center been in existence? University of Ghana was established in 1948. Yes. So I want to believe that in 1948 the service was there.
Oh, no. It was much later. In 1970, the university saw the need to set up the center to help place students, to prepare them to find their own level when they leave school. And then with time they realized it wasn't just about placement, job placement, but some of them needed counseling, professional counseling, and so that was also added. And sometimes as they've come in, some are as work their way through. So yes, it's been around since then, and it's gone through different names.
Sure.
It was the Guidance Center, and then it became the Counseling and Placement Center. And then in 2016, we got the permission to change the name to Careers and Counseling Center, because we do more than just placement. It's a lot more activities that we offer. So it's now Careers and Counseling Center.
So for how long have you been the director?
Since 2013, August 2013.
That's about 5 years. Yeah. Okay. And I believe you've done a lot of good works in making sure that the center is one of the best in the country and on the continent as well.
I hope so, because I believe it's an integral part of every student's life. And so if we are able to support them in this way, then the entire student experience is much more memorable. And when they leave, they have good memories of the University of Ghana. They are willing to come back and pull that matter to them back to the university, because it plays such an important role in who they would be. It's prepared you for the world of work out there. And so it has to be something that would make you want to come back. And that's our main focus, on getting them to be able to compete in the world out there, but also willing to come back and contribute to other services the university offers.
Services. But it looks like for your center, you have really carved out and brought out the career to stand on its own, and then also the counseling center as well. What informed this decision?
Well, the counseling is about discussing options and helping the client. Careers, we chose careers over placement because placement is more restricted to maybe internships or job placements. But we are preparing them, not just with in the classroom, but we offer them, for instance, volunteering programs. So we have a project called Transform My Community, where students are placed in the deprived community to live there, to see how that community can be transformed based on the knowledge they have from the classroom. This is not necessarily placement, it's a career, it fits into their career, but yeah, career development, that's the one, but not necessarily placement. We have entrepreneurship programs, what we call the Enterprise Zone, where students are given, with entrepreneurial ideas, are given the opportunity to prepare their idea. And this is because we see it as an... I may talk about this. This is one of our students that came out of our entrepreneurship challenge. This is processed coconut husk into charcoal tablets, yes. And so we did the entrepreneurship challenge called the Dare to Start Challenge, and they got this, and they have an investor now. Invested $80,000, and they are exporting this charcoal out of the country, earning foreign currency. And so this is not necessarily placement, but they've got a business and they are employing other people to support them. So
the unemployment.
Exactly, our main aim is to reduce the graduate unemployment in Ghana. And if we're able to prepare our students to contribute that way, we know very soon a lot more businesses will come up, and so most of them won't have to stay at home waiting for a job that probably is non-existent.
Okay, so how did you get the entire university buying into this transformation? Because in some countries and then in some universities, it is not that easy to have the entire university placing much more premium on careers and counseling services for students. How did you do it? It's
not been easy, as you said, because sometimes you have people being of the view that it's only important to teach them and send them away. But we believe that if you're teaching them, they have to be able to fit in, to groom them into the world of work. And so fortunately at that time there was Prof. Saite and currently Professor Ebenezer Odru, and are willing to add their support, and the registrar as well, which is Mrs. Hazel Isha. So they see what we're doing and they see the essence of these to the lives of our students. And so if you've got their support, then it's easy to rally the support of other members of the university to be able to run it. That doesn't mean everyone supports it, but we realize that most of the entire community now sees the essence of this, and so they are willing to work with us to help our students be able to compete in a competitive job market.
Great. Dr. Bak, let me ask you, who needs counseling?
Who needs counseling? That's an interesting question. Sure. Everybody is my simple answer. Everybody, in the sense that at any point in time, we are all faced with a challenge of decision making. Sure. And sometimes if you are in the situation, it's difficult for you to look beyond your problem and see the various options that are available to you. And so when you talk to a professional counselor, informed decision based on the information available to you. So counselors don't necessarily advise you on what to do or tell you what to do, but they help you discuss that at a point in time. Sometimes we get it from our friends, from our relatives, but if they are not professional counselors, sometimes their approach might not be what you actually need, or they are actually telling you what to do, but without even necessarily looking at the other options available to you. So it's important to talk to a professional counselor who point in time.
That's beautiful. And looking at a setup like this in a university, you may have some kind of challenges, especially how readily are students available for counseling in terms of confidentiality issues, in terms of privacy. How have you been able to manage it to make sure that the students readily come for counseling anytime, anywhere, and when they need it?
Well, the challenge has been, it's probably more cultural than just our students. In our society, it's difficult for people to open up and share their problems. And I say this because a lot of the time when we have foreign students from the US, as soon as they arrive, they'll report themselves and say, I have this condition, I've been diagnosed with this condition, I'm on this medication, I need this kind of support, maybe psychotherapy or medication when it needs to be prescribed. They bring themselves. And so we see the cultural difference here. But whereas our students, some of them are even receiving medication from outside, but they don't want the university to know because they are afraid of being stigmatized. But the university is actually very sympathetic towards, you, if you let us know your condition, and then we can bring in all the support and the advocacy that you need. So what we say is, it's difficult for people to open up, but those that open up and those that access our services, they realize it helps them with their stay on campus. Because if we need, for instance, to make a concession, the university needs to make a concession for you based on your peculiar condition, we are able to write a letter, a report on your condition. Of course, taking out the details of it is then willing to work with you. And so it's important for the students to let us know, because if they keep it to themselves and the time comes when they need this support, we do not have any history on them, we do not have any information on them, so we cannot make a case, a strong case on their behalf. And that's why we're saying, even if you're receiving help outside, it's important for us to know, so that if it means discussing with your halls, with your course or with your department, with the academic affairs, for them to give you the needed support, then you have a strong case on which to go by.
In fact, you make a very significant point where our cultural backgrounds kind of enter
in a year, well, because we are into the Careers and Counseling Center, then it will be difficult to limit it just to the counseling side. But the center, we may, because not everyone is on campus actually, at the center we may get up to 20,000. A lot of them looking at career opportunities and internship opportunities, job placement. But in terms of counseling, I think we looked at, we tried to do a chart out of it, and probably about 7,000 in and out in a year. But some are coming in probably once, some are consistently seeing a clinical psychologist or some counselor, or some are also, we also have a psychiatrist that comes in once a week. So all these, when we put it together, we're looking at around 7,000 every year, which is not that big, but I think it's quite significant for our students to realize that it's important to come and get help. Sometimes it might be just about the course you're doing, or your academic performance, or your relationship with your roommates, even relationships. But I think the lecturer-student relationship is also there, and other university authorities, your relationship with other university authorities. And sometimes it's been said that students come for counseling only when they have that when it's only broken hearts that will make you need help. If you're not getting the grades you want, how do you get out of it? Sometimes we have counselors that will, education counselors that will help you maybe develop a time management system that will help you make the most of your time, or studying skills, because sometimes maybe you're studying but you are not absorbing because you're using the wrong skills. So yes, they offer you some skills on that. Career path are you looking at? So what course combination do you need to help you meet that career objective? So yes, we offer various services, and students gradually are seeing the essence of this and they're coming in more.
You are doing amazingly well. Amazingly well, because I have visited some campuses, especially their counseling services center, and I know you are doing a great job. But other universities may not have gotten, because when you go to University of Cape Coast, for instance, it is the counseling services center, so we kind of place value on all. But here it looks like placing much more value on the career services. Students are free to walk in because they wouldn't go through any stigma that I have broken heart.
For instance, we had to rebrand the center for students to see it as a career center or student support center. That was actually the name we wanted, student support services. But we realized that it might clash with other names, other units of the university.
Like the dean
of student, exactly, the dean of students office. That was the main challenge. So we kept it at this. And if you need help with career, and sometimes they talk to us and they actually need financial aid. So we refer them to the student financial aid office, for instance. So they are coming in for counseling, but the main problem behind the counseling is the financial aid they need. So we refer them. So it's we say that it's not been easy, but it's just because when we started charting the students' journey, it's a cycle that we charted, and we realized that at various points, what are their needs and how can we help them? So we put ourselves in the center of the students' journey, and so that at any point in time we can offer them support in the various areas. So that's how come then the center became more of an all-encompassing center, because we are charting their journey with them throughout the 4 years or 2 years. You're able to know what their needs are and how best you can support them at any point in time.
Okay. So do you have the lecturers also coming in for services? Do you have their dependents coming in if they have any?
Yes, the center is here for the students. It's actually for the entire of the staff bring in their dependents rather than themselves. But those staff that still want to check themselves in, we usually see them outside hours so that they are not sitting around waiting with students. So we offer them out of office service, out of hours services, yes. But they're allowed to bring their children in. They're allowed to bring themselves in if they need the help, yes. And then of course the students are allowed to walk in anytime.
So then it means you do some kind of outreaches outside the university community?
Community sees that we are also offering them, giving, they are giving to us. We also have to give something back to them. And so we run those, and there's another one on age concern where there's one group that we've partnered with that looks at the elderly. And it was a group of social work students who came up with this idea, so we partnered with them, and so we give the elderly the support, and we run sort of seminars and training programs, some kind of forum for people to understand the needs of the elderly and how they might be supported.
So we'll take a very quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at, we'll zero our discussion into more of the careers and what you do with this.
One gets quality education. It's never too late to acquire it. The University of Lusaka, a modern private university located off Ali Kinkata Road in Lusaka, Zambia, offers undergraduate, master's and PhD degree programs in the School of Business and Management, Law, Economics, Banking and Financial Services, Public Administration, Governance and International Relations, and Health Sciences. Our curriculum is practical and designed to meet the changing needs of employers, business and society. Because at Unilos, we make students think outside the book. Our driving force is a passion for quality education. We build graduates fit for purpose. Enroll now.
Because we are streaming live from the director's office, and that is the director for Ghana. And I hope that you've been enjoying the discussion throughout. If you just joined in, we are telling you to
communication, teamwork, the things that employers are looking for, we train them. So it's 10 sessions. And then once we've trained them and we've prepared them, these are job if you've graduated already or for internship opportunity. Because we know that now they understand the workplace and some of the skills that will be required for them in the workplace.
So does that mean that when a company needs or an industry needs students or they need workers, they come to you to seek advice, and then you provide them with the quality?
And some of them are already partners in various projects that we work on. So we approach them, and so if they have needs, they will let us know. So for instance, we run a career fair usually in February, March of every year in preparation towards the summer holidays. And so employers will come in for 3 days. They'll be meeting our students one-on-one, talking to them for internship in the summer holidays or for national service placements. Or those who've already graduated, then if they are looking for a job, they might get a job placement out of that. So we run that's employability hub. And then we have the Transform My Community project, as I talked about. That's a volunteering project. So that also prepares them for the world of work, because it gives them skills that are needed, problems, and how can you help solve some of these problems. They come up with recommendations, they come up with solutions as to how we might transform those communities.
Okay. So what has been the success rate for the
based on that? We get feedback, because as part of the letter we give a form, a feedback form. We're able to then, when you return, we'll go so well in this area, maybe in initiative. So how might you prepare yourself next time you're going into the world of work? And so we discuss that with students on that. And as part of our training, then we know we need to stress on initiative. So when we place with students, with employers as well, for instance, they might say, give us 20 of your best in social sciences. They might pick 10. So we're asking them why you pick these 10 and not the other 10. And sometimes the feedback, they will tell us maybe this one. Exactly. So we prepare the next lot for the next time that is going. So we are to compete, because we want to maintain our position of being the best in West.
Okay. So if a student walks into you for career services or for career
they want to know, maybe they don't know what career choices they make. We have options. We have the training, like I said. So it's a 10-week session. You can register each semester, but we also have like an employability timeline. So what level are you in? What are your courses? What are your areas, that your interest areas? And some of them are not personality tests, which combines your personality and your interests and your ability to see which areas that you thrive in. And what we say is, we warn that it doesn't mean you won't do, you can't. It just recommends the jobs that will come naturally to you, that will help you do well in, because it comes naturally to you. Maybe A, B, and C for you to be able to thrive in whatever you choose. So out of the assessment, we'll give you advice that if you look at these areas, it tends to be more natural. So if you're at this level, you need to follow maybe A, B, and C. To be able to get to that. And for some of the courses, we find that maybe they are not even being run in the University of Ghana or being run in Ghana as a whole. Then we start looking at other areas outside of Ghana where you might get some of those courses. So at that point, yes, the student has an idea of where they want to be and how they're going to get there. And that's how come the education fair came in. So that we invite other universities from outside Ghana that offer courses that we don't. Maybe with scholarship, and at least the students are aware that these courses are available elsewhere. If I want to pursue them, then I know where to go.
So during your career fairs, how easily do you get the companies, the institutions partnering with you? Because I know it's a difficult terrain. You may have a lot of stories to share with us. Yes,
we have a lot of stories, and the reason being, sometimes when you approach companies, they're expecting it to run for free. And I will have to say to them that we're a public institution. We will not get funding to run a career fair, but we need to run it because we want to give you an opportunity to see our best students.
And we want a student for them.
Yes,
actually.
So we want you to make an input. So the sponsors, so people, we get them to sponsor, or you can just register. If you just register, you just get the stand. But if you sponsor, depending on your level of sponsorship, you get to address the students. Of course, it comes with other benefits. So in your address to students, you tell them what you have as a company, what are your expectations, what are your requirements, what are your products and services that the students might want to patronize. And so that helps them, helps us as well to get them to commit, because they realize that, well, we might get the youth that are now coming up. If we can grab them early and groom them to suit our corporate that invest in talent hunting, they are willing to work with us on
and
those.
They always get the best.
And they always get the best, because when you're here, you get to meet them. And if you feel you still haven't got enough, we can still get you more. Because the university is that big. I mean, even if they don't appear at the fair, we can still speak to the departments and get you more. So what we do is we screen them. If you ask us directly, sometimes they want to do it on their own. We shortlist and we give it. Companies like MTN, for Barclays, for Airtel, you know, we've worked with them over the last few years at the career fairs.
So the brand is always
yes,
there.
And the students know about them, and they're always asking, what is Barclays offering now? What is MTN offering? You know, in last semester, for instance, MTN took about 50. Barclays took about 100, and I think Airtel took 10 or so. And it carries on. There are quite a number of other companies. If you can see, we had over 30 companies in our career fair. And so all these companies are looking to place students.
Nothing but the best.
Well, it does place pressure, but we are happy to do that because we want Ghana to realize that we were the best.
Sure.
So we also want to put our best foot forward. It helps with also our brand. And I'm very interested in the UG brand.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that we present the best so that we're more willing to come back the following year to ask for more. If you don't give them the best, then they lose faith. It means next year when you talking to them, they are not
But have
interested.
you ever gotten a negative feedback from the companies based on the student that they picked?
Usually the ones that we presented, like we said, we'll screen them.
Okay.
We take them through the interviewing, the mock interview, and then we do the selection. So
okay.
usually we get positives for those. But students might have gone on their own, that we had nothing to do with them. So they might say, oh, they're University of Ghana students. But those are ones that probably haven't been prepared. They haven't got any clue about workplace ethics. So they might come and sit there and be on Facebook. They might come and sit there and be WhatsApping. But the ones that we've prepared, we let them know it's not allowed in the workplace to go and sit there and be on Facebook, for instance. So yes, you might get a few of those where we've had much complaints, apart from probably the fact that some of them don't have the confidence that is expected in the workplace. But there again, I think that is more, it cuts across.
But I think even with that, you know, industry has a role to play in preparing the student, because we are preparing them for industry.
Yes.
So I think that one should even be a problem for you, because it is their responsibility to also make sure that they groom them when they come there.
Yes.
To up them up to the level of maybe confidence that they want.
Yes, and I would say that the courses are just usually giving them the technical skills.
Sure.
You as an employer will need to train them on your specifics, on your corporate culture. A person might have a degree in banking and finance, for instance. You might employ them, but you're to groom them on. But as much as possible, we want students that can go in and contribute. And that's why we request that Corporate Ghana works with us, so that we are preparing them for you. So we want you to work with us so that we will make your work probably easier, because we worked with you already to prepare them while they were here. So when we release them out to you, to a large extent, they are able to fit in and contribute because you contributed in their grooming. And that's why we probably at your platform might send this message out. We are asking Corporate Ghana to help us groom our students for them. We cannot do it alone because we are not exactly sure what your requirements are. But if you let us know what your requirements are, what the trend is in your sector, in your industry out there, let us work on it so that we can prepare them for it.
So in a way, this is kind of addressing the skill mismatch.
I won't call it mismatch, maybe a gap, a skills gap, because there's a gap sometimes where the transition is from academia into industry. Sometimes it might not be exactly smooth because of the requirements of the various industries. So if a student is being trained, usually they're being trained to contribute. But if you pick them, you need to do a bit of work on them to fit your specific industry or to fit your specific sector. And that's what we're talking about.
Great. So what has been your major challenge as a center? And
the major challenge as a center, I'll look at two things. The first one is financial, because all these brilliant ideas such as these, they can draw on the fund and run the business. With that, I think that's the biggest way we can reduce graduate unemployment, because if they have the business, they're able to employ themselves and able to employ some of their mates or some of the other people with less skills. And gradually, this helps take a lot more pressure of the already existing jobs, because there aren't that many available. Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
What will be your final words to a student who has never visited the center?
A student who has never visited the center, our tagline at the center is your smart choice. And so what we're saying is, if you're going through the university for 4 years and not speaking to the Careers and Counseling Center, you are not being smart about your choices. The reason being that if you have everything figured out, it helps sometimes to speak to the professionals. So it confirms what you've decided. It will help you put the necessary structures in place for you to achieve those career objectives that you set for yourself. Do speak to us, and I'm sure you'll be glad you did.
So thank you so much, Mrs. Bachman, for opening your center to us. And we know that anytime we walk in, you would gladly receive us and share with us something. All right, so thank you, and we are so much appreciated. Earlier, we had a wonderful discussion with the director of the Career and Counseling Center of the University of Ghana, Ghana's premier university, where we were looking at the basic things that happens here at the center, what was the rationale for setting up the center, and what has been the benefit students and the entire university has derived from this center. And we had a very interesting discussions, and for us to also know how the students have been experiencing services or counseling services in the premier university, it is important who would give us their first-hand information and their first-hand experience of the counseling and services center here at the premier university. And I have two wonderful students.
Bashan.
Okay, so you did your internship there.